So who wouldn't want this book? Looked at from a distance, it looks like a lot of fun to be this FA. $931 million, 220 households. Total production trailing 12, 5.497 million. Not bad. Remember, this is program inception as of 1/5/22. This is an FA that hired me at the beginning of the year. Average AUM per household, nice and strong. Average production per household, also nice and strong. But let's start teasing this thing apart and see what happens. First thing we're going to look at is, where would his top 1/3 most productive relationships be? Well, in this case, they're going to be anything above 33,238. It's just this number times 1.33. To get to his lower tier, we just take this number times 1.67. We get here. Everything here falls in the middle. Overall book ROA of 0.59%. Not so bad. So let's take a look at the top. The top tier of the 931 million, 633 million sits in tier 1. 42 out of the 220 households, trailing production 3.4 million against 4.2 million. 19% of the households giving them 62% of productivity. Not so bad. Average AUM per household is over 15 million in this tier in comparison to what we have up here. Average production per household, 81,483 versus their average production per household up here of 24,000. So far, so good. Looks okay. Let's keep going. Okay, tier 2. Another 152 million bucks. Not bad at all. 61 households. So now we're up to what? 103. Another 1.54 in trail. 27% of the households make up this group. 28% of total productivity. Average AUM still pretty strong. And we look at average production per household, still not bad at all. ROA is up a little bit as well. All good so far, but what about that lower tier? And here it's like, what are we going to do? Well, the answer is something, because to leave this alone, you're making an extraordinary mistake. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Down here in tier 3, we've got 145 million bucks among 117 households out of that 220. Total production trailing 12, 530,000 bucks. 53% of the households, 9.68% of production, 1.2 million per household. Average production 4.59 and a smooth ROA of 0.37. So I'll give you a bit of a clue as to how we solve this. Think back, assuming you were a first or second quintile FA, to maybe your 5th, 7th year. What would you have done for a book like this? Now, I mentioned before that Terry is looking to kind of pack it in probably within 5 years. He has a junior assistant who he doesn't think is really qualified, but then again, he hasn't really found out yet. So we worked out something that would allow Terry to not only attack this problem, but also figure out who might be a worthy or suitable successor. I'll get into that a little bit further, but let me just go through what happened and what finally prompted him to make a move. He knew his service to this tier was very different. He knew he wanted to spend most of his time on those top 2 tiers. The problem was there's 117 of these folks. It's 53% of the household. They're talking to somebody. They're talking to his staff. Now, 9.68% is the total production they represent. What that means is that to be fair to his other clients, his staff should have only been devoting 9.6% of their time to this crew. Well, how do you do that if it represents 53% of your households? You made these people promises when you opened them up. You told them everything was going to be great. And then you went and got smart and got bigger, and that's a problem. Leaving it alone isn't the answer. It needs to be fixed, and we'll get into how we did that. Let's just take a quick look at the before and after. Book stats as of 7/31/22, and you can see, just looking at the tier 3 up here and the tier 3 down here, something happened. Oh, 117. Now we're down to 94. Wonder how we did that. Let's look at also average AUM per household, 964. Percent of total households, now down to 46. But take a look at what happened over here to ROA. So we'll get into what actually happened in a subsequent post, because this is about average, what I see when we put this program in place. And let's just look at those tier 3s side by side. 145 grew to 175, 117 shrank to 94. Production didn't double, but it came pretty close. And percent of total production almost doubled as well. ROA went up to 0.55. Guys, this is completely doable. And if you've been in business for at least 10 years, I don't care what your production numbers are, but you're going to have similar issues. The vast majority of your production is coming from the top 2 tiers of your clients that have the smallest number of households and the highest AUM and percentage of productivity. But the hardest thing to solve is the time commitment you're required to make for the folks at the lower tier of the book who were great accounts at one point, but now don't fit your ideal client. This is an Excel spreadsheet I put together. I am happy to share it so you can kind of work along as we go through this over the next several posts. Just shoot me an email at crqtemplate@betterpathtraining.com. I will send you a template with all the formulas built in. I'm not charging anything. You will get a template plus a short instructional video. But I will tell you, if you fill this thing out, it's kind of like staring into the soul of your practice. But I don't know how you would do anything to fix it until you can run this type of diagnostic. That's it for now. Talk to you soon.